morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, people of
Good morning.
LinkedIn. Good morning, Kelton.
Morning. How are we this morning?
We are good. We are good. We are good. If anybody hasn't joined this before, if you're joining us on LinkedIn, welcome. Please do say good morning in the chat. If you're joining us on YouTube, please do say good morning. If you're joining on LinkedIn, just in case the technology fails us, which it did last week, even though the full recording is still there, you can always jump over onto YouTube. And you can find this on the ERG strategy channel. It's just that the LinkedIn live tech is just a little bit wobbly. So that's just a tip. But if you are joining us, happy Friday. Happy Friday. It's been a long week. Kelton, you were saying you've had a long week, right?
Yeah, I have a bit jet lagged, trying to get used to the hours because I've been in the US for a week and a half.
Jet lagged. So you've been in Dallas. So time difference, what, 6 hours?
Yeah, around that much.
Yeah, 6-7 hours. And the jet lag is hard coming this way, right? It's really hard, kind of going from west to east. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I think I've just got used to it now. I got used to the time difference over there, and then I was coming back, so it just readjustment.
Yeah. So good morning if you're joining us live. Say good morning in the chat. Let us know how you're doing. Kelton, where are you dialing in from? Are you in Manchester? You're in Manchester today?
Yeah, I'm in Manchester. The sun's coming out. I think it's been raining a little bit, but the sun's coming out, so it's all good. Big smiles on a Friday morning.
Yeah, the sun's coming out in Manchester. As I once said on a LinkedIn Live, maybe a couple of months ago, I was like, it always rains in Manchester. But I feel like I can say that because I used to work there. But it's sunny where I am. So yeah, we're looking good. We're looking good.
Yeah.
So I've got with me Kelton Gooding from Indeed Flex. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And so we've got one person watching on that's found us on YouTube. Great. We're on ERG Strategy. Just in case you get disconnected on LinkedIn, we're on ERG Strategy, the channel, right, on YouTube. Okay, so I've got with me Kelton Gooding. Kelton, so there is a tradition on here where I get Claude to write your bio, and then you get to score it out of 10. The one thing I will say, just to give Claude a bit of grace, Claude didn't know your surname for some reason, so I've had to add that in myself. But here's Claude's intro. Today, brilliant. I'm joined by Kelton Gooding, co-chair of Flex Pride and Flexer Development Manager at Indeed Flex. Kelton has been with the business for over 9 years, right back to its early days as SIFT, and came to network leadership from a career in hospitality, where he was named Hospitality Manager of the Year for the North region. As co-chair, see, Claude's been digging into your bio, Kelton. As co-chair of Flex Pride, he's been behind a run of high-profile Pride partnerships, starting with Edinburgh Pride, which he presented as a case study at this year's ERG Leader Summit. Welcome, Kelton.
Welcome. Great to be here.
And good morning, Daniel, as well. Good morning. How are you doing? Kelton, marks out of 10 for Claude's intro.
Oh, it's got to be a 10.
It's a 10 out of 10. Let me just go back into. So first of all, SIFT. So just for anybody that has maybe not heard of Indeed Flex, but also potentially has not heard of SIFT, just give us a little potted history of SIFT and then into Indeed Flex and just what the business does, first of all.
Yeah, so we're a temporary staffing platform, and it was a startup in 2015. And then we were bought by Indeed in 2019. So it's been an amazing journey for me. I've been, it's been in different roles, and I've got quite a lot of passion for it because it's felt like my own business and how we've driven the business forward. So yeah, it's been amazing.
So you were with SIFT right in the early days then, so not long after it was
started. I joined in 2017 to launch the North with 3 other my colleagues.
Nice, amazing. And then it's now Indeed Flex, and as you say, a platform for temporary workers. So I guess that is quite, and in a specific sectors.
We did start off our business in hospitality, and now we're in 6 different sectors. So I'm growing the business every day and evolving. So
Incredible, incredible. And we've got Junior Beeman in the house. Good.
Morning, Junior.
Junior affectionately calls me Oprah, Kelton.
Oprah.
So
Of
Junior
course.
saying,
And
good. Good morning, Oprah and friends. So you're the and friends, Kelton, for this morning. Junior Beeman, global co-chair of NatWest Multicultural Network. There, you met Junior, I assume, Kelton, at the ERG Leader Summit, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Morning, Junior.
Amazing. Right. So we're going to be getting into, and I know with the title, I've got here BRG versus ERG, but we're also going to be getting into building pride business cases. And I think had I maybe had the conversation with Michelle Hunter before this one, do you know how weird is that?
And there she is.
Literally just said Michelle's name, and then as if by magic, Michelle's name popped up. So if anybody hasn't watched the live that I did with Michelle going through the business case, I mean, my mind was blown. My mind was already blown when I heard of this particular, the Edinburgh sponsorship. But then after speaking to Michelle, good morning, Michelle. Michelle, are you joining us from up in Edinburgh, or are you elsewhere in the world? Do let us know. But there's definitely something about the business case, what it takes to get buy-in for a business case like that, the relationship building, managing, key individuals, etc. But obviously, I'd called this session BRG versus ERG. And if anybody's watched, a YouTube video that I did on this the other day, on the day of the ERG Leader Summit, Richard Loftus, who is one of the co-hosts, was announcing your case study. And literally just before he came on, he said to me, BRG, what's that stand for? That's literally what he said. And I was like, it stands for Business Resource Group. And what's interesting is I think Michelle said that you're just used to the term BRG. So you don't really, you probably weren't as familiar with ERG. Sunny in Edinburgh. Really good to hear it, Michelle. So just for anybody that doesn't know, tell us a little bit about the Flex Pride BRG before we go into like the case study, and then we'll move into that.
Yeah, so the big difference, like Michelle caught up with you last week, I didn't realise what ERG was either. Obviously, I do.
I love that. I love that. Yeah.
It. So we've always been called, and we've always run with it as a business resource group. We look at every opportunity through a business lens, and I think that's the major difference. So does it support our people, our strength, our brand, and create a value for the business? And I think that's where the big difference is. If it's purely a social event without a clear impact on engagement, recruitment, retention, then obviously we go a different direction, but really try and present it as a business case so we can get more out of it and work more collaborative with it. So that's really the difference.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, because here's the thing, and anybody that knows me will know, I wish every ERG operated like a BRG. That's my wish. That's my dream. You mentioned there, I tried to write them down really quickly. You mentioned like almost like the criteria. So it's got to like have an impact with people. It's good for the brand, and it's good for value. Did I miss anything out there?
Just strengthen our brand, and how does it support our people? How does it support our people as well? From business and employee, because they really work together.
Yeah. I love that. It's just like almost like the lens. That's the filter, isn't it? In terms of should we even be doing this thing?
Yeah. And the impact of it as well. We've got a lot of passion in the Flex Pride, and we really want to be working with people, for a long time and really strengthen our brand through that as well. So.
Talk to me about sort of playing devil's advocate a little bit. Not that the devil needs any, but I think you mentioned something like there's stuff that maybe is purely social, as in like it's just for people. So just talk me through how is that done, like and through what vehicle? So is that also still done through the BRG, or actually is that done just in a separate way? And people just go out because there's Prosecco on tap. In
Scotland.
yeah, I learned about that last week. So explain to me, because obviously what a lot of ERGs employee resource groups, for anybody that's watching that doesn't know, find themselves, I think, often doing is literally just almost being an extension of a social committee, but for a specific group. So talk to me about how the purely social stuff is done, because I assume not everything has to have a pound sign attached to it, right?
No, of course not. And I think the social aspect of building the business, as well as making sure that the employees are there as well and getting involved, is really, really important. But the benefit from a business perspective on social events is that networking. You're meeting different people, you're collaborating with different people, you're sort of like discussing different things and learning about other people. And that's really important for me as well. We do a lot of networking in DFlex, and and obviously make a lot of partnerships out of that, and seeing how we can help each other. So that really makes an impact on the Flex Pride and any event, really, pushing it forward.
Yeah, I love that. So is that, and that's internal networking, correct?
Yeah,
Like
internal and external networking. Yeah, both, a little bit of both. 50-50,
yeah. Okay. And here's the thing. So anybody that's watching this, right, who's ERG, maybe it's mainly social, I don't want you to think that I'm completely anti events that are just purely about getting people together. Because, as you were saying there, Kelton, it helps to, for example, build relationships, find out what's going on in the business, get to know people on a human level, which is really, really important, right? Especially, if you're looking to get ahead and all of those things, just in terms of for your own career, it is really good, like, to get to know people.
Definitely.
Yeah, let me just,
It's really important. It's really important on that side as well. I mean, obviously the world's turned to remote as well, so it's really important to have that engagement within a company.
Yeah,
even if it's a social event as well. So.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Business resource group. Thank you so much, Tayo, for this, for the full, almost like the full package there. Business resource group, impact on people, retention, recruitment, business development, ERG, employee resource group. What I tend to suggest, Tayo, and I'd be interested in your thoughts on this, and Kelton, maybe you can chip in as well. My view is, and interestingly, when I was discussing this with a client yesterday, especially where you've got employee networks, colleague networks, they're called all sorts of different things, right, that are in their early stages of forming, then I think it's quite normal for people to just be like, can we just get everybody together and, we just get everybody together to have a laugh, to be with each other socially, to build like that sense of community, right? I think that's really normal, like at the beginning, because a lot of the reason that these networks exist is often because people are thinking, am I the only person that's like this? Am I the only person that's got this lived experience? Am I the only person that experiences this workplace in this way? So actually those informal social events absolutely have their place, especially at the start of like when a network is building up. My challenge to ERGs, to any colleague network, is if you've been going for 2 or 3 years, but also in a climate where there is pressure on resources, pressure on the bottom line, political pressure, all of that, you got to be delivering something else. That's just my own view. And I actually think what I see in organizations, I see engagement drop in ERGs that have been going for years and years and years, and all they're doing is social events. That's what I see. It's the question I get asked the most. I don't know what your thoughts are, Kelton, just in terms of maybe that journey of, maybe earlier on in the day, you literally are just getting people together and, going down the pub or whatever.
I think it's really important to have that team building on there and see where it goes. If you do too much of it, then like you said, it's very repeated all the time, and then it turns into just going out for a few drinks. It's about learning about other people that you're working with, and then extending that networking. Yeah,
absolutely. Another point, Teo, you've had your Weetabix this morning. That's what I'm going to say, and I love it. We love that over here. ERGs with sponsors provide opportunity to network with senior leaders that you might otherwise never interact with. Absolutely. So that's the one thing. And I know, Kelton, you wanted to talk about relationship building, so maybe we get into this, because I think Teo's bringing out some really good points here. What I always say to ERGs is, even if your calendar is events heavy, always make sure that you've got senior leaders in the room if you can, because for one, it tends to like lift or elevate the quality of the event and what you're doing, but also it's that opportunity to network with senior leaders, and you never know where that conversation is going to go to as well. Let's just talk about the importance, Kelton, you think, in terms of relationships, just building on what Teo's saying there about the networking.
Yeah, the networking, I think, is really important to build them relationships, internal and external. You know, you find out about what other companies are doing, what other people are doing, you know, in their personal life, as well as a business opportunity. And I think it's really important to build them. And I think from how we've started and how we built Flex Pride and all the other BRGs is that networking. And I think that's where it starts, because then you find out where opportunities that you can help other companies or get involved in events or social events. And then obviously that leads into a business proposal and seeing how we can help each other move forward. And I think that's a really important. So it all starts with networking, I think.
Yeah. Talk to me a little bit about, and I know this wasn't in one of the questions that I said I was going to ask, but talk to me a little bit on what makes an impact to colleague, customer, and business. Absolutely. We held a career event yesterday for almost 300 colleagues. You could feel the impact. That's incredible. And even with something like that, a career event, I've run a career workshop for a network. So a network brought me in to run a career workshop, and they invited clients to nominate individuals to join as well. And then we had senior leaders come in and, you know, all kinds of things. But yeah, I love it, Junior. It's sort of just, it is a mindset shift. Learning what is important to employees and the business to develop a strategy that makes sense from the people, aspirations and challenges and business goals. Absolutely. Like for me, like Teo, that is the sweet spot. It's if you can get it to do both, it's, you know, absolutely perfect. Right. So one of the reasons that obviously Kelton was part of the team that presented at the ERG Leader Summit with Michelle Hunter and Karan as well was your sponsorship of Edinburgh Pride. And I know you're gearing up to do Manchester, and we're going to get into that. And for anybody that is thinking Manchester Pride, is Manchester having a pride? Maybe we'll get into a little bit of the tea.
Yeah.
But but let's start off with Edinburgh Pride. For anybody that doesn't know, just tell us really quickly about Edinburgh Pride and the opportunity and all of that stuff, basically.
Yeah, it was an amazing opportunity, and as Michelle's gone through it on her LinkedIn Live, it was an amazing opportunity. But the fascinating thing about this opportunity was we were doing something different. You know, not just going for the same sponsor package that anyone else would do. And, you know, that creativity there between us all and pushing that case to be able to sponsor the volunteers. I think it was amazing how that came out of it, because, you know, when you look at Pride events.
Yeah, good vibes. It is, you know, I think what's nice about Indeed Flex, just going down a slight rabbit hole, I get a sense of you've still got almost like the energy of a founder-led business. That's what I feel. Like that's what I feel from the brand, which is very rare to still have that, like within a larger group. Anyway, we digress. But what I would say, the one of the things I want to take away from what you just said there, first of all, in terms of sponsoring the volunteers, I'm guessing that for anybody that's watching this, they're going to be writing that down. They're going to be, oh, we could do that. Or actually, and it's again the thing that I took away from when Michelle and I spoke about this, it's getting creative, like getting creative about actually we can't, especially like we can't afford those sponsorship packages actually, but what else is it that they do that we could potentially afford that actually really aligns with like our business objectives? It's genius. Like
it's looking at that.
That's one of the reasons that I reached out to you.
It's looking at them opportunities, and you know, obviously everything's held by budget, so you've got to be realistic about what your projections are going to be. You know, so you look at it and plan. You know, have a brainstorming session and really look at what we can do to make an impact within that community or event. And that's how we led it. So, you know, I'm very passionate about what we've done and how we move forward with the Flex Pride. And it's all about the culture and as well. You know, Junior is going to start working for us next week. So But yeah, and it, and we want to hold on to that because, the culture at Indeed Flex is amazing. And we've got a lot of passion on driving things forward for the business and our BRGs or ERGs moving forward. So
yeah. No, that is incredible. And one of the things that you said there, you said that you had like a brainstorm about what you could do. So is that how you sort of like, is that how you landed on we can sponsor the volunteers? Did that come out of a brainstorm, or how did that come about as an idea?
It was Michelle's baby, really, in that sense. Basically, we did brainstorm what we could do, but Michelle did reach out to the organisers of Pride, and we looked at the sponsor packages. It wasn't within our budget, so then obviously got creative in looking at what we could do, and then Michelle forwarded that question, and look at how can we sponsor the volunteers, which was amazing.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you as well. So, Teo, employers need to remember that former employees can be your greatest advocates. I love that, Teo. We're getting creative now. Investing in employees through BRGs or ERGs that have real impact can be the differentiator that shows the walk, not just the talk. I love that because we're talking about creativity, basically, which is great. I'd love to know if you can share them. Were there any other ideas that came out of your brainstorm? You don't have to share them if you're definitely going to use them again yourself, and you don't want to give away like your BRG trade secrets. But I'm really curious whether there were any other ideas that came out.
Yeah, there was quite a lot of ideas of what we could do, but obviously we had to look at budget and what we could present and the impact that it would make and coming out of it. It was really looking at community ideas as well. We had a community stand as well, which we could have just done on its own, and that's in my vlog as well, which we made it look very, very pretty and fabulous. And looking at other ideas, how we can make an impact to support the community or to support the charity itself, which is a really important thing as well, working with charities.
Absolutely. You've just reminded me two things. So I'm going to pick up on Co-op. I'm not sure who that user is, but I'm going to guess that it's maybe Dan Sayers Yates or Nat. But I promised last week, Junior, that I would send you a prioritization matrix that has it's a 2x2 matrix of impact and how easy or how expensive is it to do that thing. And so as Kelton's described, if you do, like, for example, a brainstorm where people write on Post-it notes what they think they could do, like on their own, and then you plot it on the wall in a grid, hopefully that will come out with what are the high impact things that maybe don't cost so much and are relatively easy to do. I love it. LinkedIn user, apologies, your name hasn't come through in our tech. At Co-op, we often send products to the prize, like water, fruit, snacks, and even Prosecco. Somebody say Prosecco. Somebody must have heard us talking about the Prosecco on tap at the Edinburgh office. I mean, that's a reason to work there. I don't drink anymore, but in the days when I did, Prosecco was absolutely my thing. Junior's obviously clearly I wasn't a priority because I ain't had it yet. This week my feet haven't touched the ground. Like, I'm not kidding you, but I promise you that the impact matrix is coming. Maybe I'll just literally post it in this thread as a picture so everybody can see it, right? My prioritization matrix. I literally was taking a group of networks on a monthly call through it yesterday. I promise you it will be coming. Right, on the back of Pride Edinburgh. So obviously, sponsoring the volunteers, and Co-op have also chimed in as well. This is like low-hanging fruit and an easy way to get involved. Tell us about Gadio and then Manchester Pride as well.
Yeah, so Gadio came up off of the back of a networking as well. And we used the same framework and presented on the sponsorship for Gadio to be the city partner in Manchester, which I was really excited about. We've hosted 3 of them now, and we've got the Pride one coming up soon. So if anybody's in Manchester and wants to join us, it's on Thursday before Pride, which is really, really exciting. But yeah, it was the relationship building, what we could help and support Gadio on, and really elevate the brand as well. And sort of like advertise that we are looking at the community as well, you know, and being very, very inclusive, and supporting that as well. So that Gadio relationship has been amazing. It's we've got really good coming up events. They are sponsored by a cruise ship. So basically that a networking event in London in October will be on the cruise ship, which will be amazing as well. But then that's what brought the relationship building through to Manchester Pride as well. So a lot of networking, and building them relationships. And I think that's the real key to be able to explore what you're going to do next within BRGs or ERGs.
Absolutely. That it's all about relationships, all about the relationship building. Teo has just added on here, I guess, about the, you know, how you get ideas, etc. Teo, this is similar to my experience as well at a previous employer. In terms of which charities to support, used to go out to a vote to colleagues. And then we'd support it for 2 or 3 years through corporate and employee fundraising efforts. We chose one national and one local charity. This made engagement more meaningful. And that's a great idea for organisations and also for ERGs and BRGs, you know, because fundraising is great, like having an element of fundraising, the giving back community, etc. is great. And just putting it out to a vote on your Viva Engage. You know, if you're struggling to get traction on your Viva Engage or your Slack or whatever channels you use, just put a vote out, you know, what charity should we do a fundraising event for? It's a really easy way to get traction. Manchester Pride. So for anybody that isn't so close to what's going on in the world of Pride, a lot of people will have heard, you know, the tea and all of the, I want to say, the drama around Manchester Pride. So, but tell us how you're going to be supporting Manchester Pride this year. Restore our faith in Manchester Pride, Kelton, single-handedly. Go.
It's back to the community, and that's a big headliner. I think bringing it back to the community, as we know that, you know, it wasn't going to go ahead, and then the community really got together and wanted to make it happen, because it still is important. You know, we still need to drive that Pride you know, event, and how we came about it with networking and getting the contacts and building them relationships. And basically, with building the Manchester Pride network, we are supplying all the bartenders, which is amazing. So, you know, we're putting bartenders into the village and working with the community. But what I really love about this time is bringing it back to the community. And I think that really resonates with everyone, because it is bringing it back to people that are in the village, supporters, allies, and, you know, and really bringing it back. So it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, and providing so many staff there. I mean, that's no mean feat. And I'm guessing that they're all going to be Indeed Flex branded, right? So the brand is going to be like sort of front and center. Again, so excited for Manchester Pride. If anybody wants to delve into the business case that I went into with Michelle, was that last week or was that the week before? I can't remember. Was it last week, Kelton?
Yeah, it was last week.
Honestly,
I think it was.
Mush.
Yeah, I couldn't actually. It was last week. It was last Friday.
Oh, you were in the States. You were on a different time zone.
I was just coming off a plane while she was going live. So
So if anybody wants to delve into the business case element of that, because you know, Michelle went through quite a bit of that, and maybe we need to there is something about, somebody's asked me about this recently, actually, clearly somebody else that I promised to send something to that haven't, but somebody's asked me about maybe doing some sort of like masterclass or something on building business cases. So if anybody doesn't know as well, my background, I am actually an accountant. I'm a chartered accountant by background, so I trained with EY like a million years ago. And actually, after I qualified, I worked in decision support. So a lot of my day would be pulling together business cases, critiquing business cases, etc. And so when you presented as a team, and there was that slide which was, we got the business case approved, I was like, it was just so lovely to see, you know, an employee network thinking about it from that perspective. So in terms of getting sign off for things like Gadio and then Manchester Pride, you know, was it easier to do that because you'd sort of almost like proven the model with Edinburgh? Because out of Edinburgh, you actually won business out of that, right? It wasn't only good for the community, but you actually got business from it,
Yeah, and I think that's both sides and what it did to push things forward. I mean, Edinburgh gave us a proof of concept. which was amazing.
Right.
So it makes it a lot easier. But then you have to look at what gathered data you've got, measured engagement, looked at recruitment and client opportunities, and brand visibility. So instead of asking people to believe it would work, we could show that it already had before we'd done it. So I think that's really important in the planning, which that's why I've got the fantastic Michelle on the committee to be able to push that as well, which helps a lot because she's very professional and very, very good at planning as a PM. So it makes the job a lot easier.
Yeah. And proof of concept, I love that you talk about proof of concept. I love that. And I would just sort of say, for any networks listening, in terms of pulling together that business case, if you have maybe done something on a smaller scale, or if you're wanting to be quite ambitious, but maybe you want to prove the thing out first, maybe see, can you do it in one region or one particular area, or just like on a small scale, prove it out. And and I love, and this is what came through really clearly at the summit, and this is what Richard said to me afterwards. So after you guys had presented, Richard said to me, it was very, very noticeable that you were the network that was talking about ROI and was basically you were talking in, as Sunena would say, the love language of leaders, right? The business is the love language of leaders, right? Business, ROI, impact, etc. Dan, hi Dan, how are you doing? It's all about measuring impact. Absolutely. And if you start it, so I've got a theory that if you do a business case where you have to define, what these measures are, what the outcomes are going to be, you're more likely to then be measuring it afterwards because you've already started on that footing, but I love that it was then able to open so many doors in terms of things coming after.
Definitely.
Let's talk about the skills mix, because I've actually, I don't know whether the video is live, but I did a video recently where I was reflecting on each of the case studies, and I was reflecting on the skills mix across you as a team of co-chairs, right? Because I thought it was really interesting. So we've got Michelle, who is your project manager. Karan works in business development, and then you're effectively in like the development and training, I guess you would say, right?
Yeah.
How important or how useful do you think that blend was in particular in terms of getting the sign off and then also getting things done for you as a network?
Definitely. You do need that mix up, and that's in any team. If you've got the same people in one team, sometimes it doesn't work. And having that skill metrics. But that was one of our biggest strengths. We're all quite creative. But we've got our own skill sets that bring it all together, and there's a wider community as well that bring that in as well, which is really good. We all bring something different to the team. Michelle's fantastic project manager, as you've seen before. She keeps me in line, so that's great for the initiatives that we need to move forward on. Karan brings fresh ideas. Creativity is one of his top things. We did something with the company for June Pride Month called Who Killed Miranda. That went a lot of work. So we did a Netflix documentary and video, and there was 4 series, all pushed forward by the creativity of Karan, which was amazing. But that's one thing that I really wanted to bring up as well, because it's about getting the involvement from the wider company, from the employees as well. As soon as we launched Who Killed Miranda, basically it brought all the company in. Everyone wanted to be on that Netflix series, so it was really good to push that forward, and it was amazing. I'll send it to you if I'm allowed.
That is hilarious.
But then it's really important to have them skill sets, which really works in that sort of sense.
Absolutely.
And then I look at more of the operational side, and Michelle's my presentation queen. So basically, if we need to put everything through and make it a lot more creative, Michelle's the girl for that. She makes everything more fabulous and disco. To be able to present, which is amazing, as you saw in the ERG Summit, which is great.
Yeah, incredible. I tell you what, you're getting a lot of love in the comments, Kelton. You had me at Who Killed Miranda. I'm guessing in the comments, I mean, do I need to ask people in the comments which Miranda are we talking about? But I'm just gonna, if you know which Miranda we're talking about, put it in the comments. I used to have a boss that we used to call Miranda.
Oh, this is Devil Wears Prada. It was at the same time it came out. I'm sure people were in line with that, but it was an amazing thing. That we did. And it brought everyone in the company together, which was amazing, and everyone really wanted to. And it was encouragement to build the Pride Flex team as well, because obviously it encouraged people to come to the next meeting, because we let an episode out every week, and then basically we didn't bring the last episode out until the Pride meeting at the end of the quarter. So everyone wanted to know who killed Miranda, which was an amazing experience, and everyone joined in, which was great.
I just love it. Honestly, the creativity, it's hilarious. I hope people are getting lots of ideas today. Who killed Miranda? And so many ideas in that, because obviously it's something that was very topical. Obviously, Devil Wears Prada was out on, I want to say May the 1st. So it was all over the place, right? So how interesting, sort of tying it in with something like that. And I'm glad that you clarified it was Devil Wears Prada, because we wouldn't want people to think that there was a real collie called Miranda that had been done in Indeed Flex, basically, just for the purpose of like a creative series. The other thing I wanted to talk about as well, actually, I think I started talking to Michelle about this, but maybe only after she was off camera. One of the challenges that a lot of organizations struggle with is engaging non-desk-based colleagues. Right, so colleagues that don't have a laptop, and maybe they don't have a company mobile phone, say, right? Is that a challenge that you have faced, and how have you sort of like got around that? How have you made sure that as a BRG you are still connecting to? Do you call them flexers? I want to say. Do you call them flexers?
Flexers. And flexperts for the internal.
Flexperts, your internals, your flexperts, right? So do you have any flexperts that are not desk based? You probably don't, do you? Or do you?
Yeah, we have people that are remote, but they will have a laptop. The way that we engage with them is we have a Slack channel, Pride channel. And we organise ourselves through the committee to take a different month with a different subject. And then everyone on Indeed Flex know I like to post. Well, I like to post on Slack, so I always make sure that people are aware of what we're doing, where we're going, and what's coming next. So, and we all share that responsibility. So we all have a spreadsheet, like Michelle mentioned, and it's put into months. And there may be certain months and things that are actually going on within that month. And then we make sure people have that responsibility to post it out, and we don't miss anything that's happening within that committee.
Yeah. And what about connecting with the flexers then? So the flexers are effectively like candidates, people that you've placed in roles, right? Do you as a BRG, do you do anything where you connect into the flexers or not? I can't remember.
Yeah, we do have social media platforms. So whenever we are celebrating Pride or celebrating a certain event or anything like that, we can post it on social media platforms. And then, if we're doing an event, then obviously when a job goes out, then that description will be in the event. So we want to do more with flexes moving forward, to show that culture that we've got, which is amazing. So we still are building on that, but it's really internal at the moment, but we do push it out to our flexes as much as we can, depending on what we're pushing.
Yeah, absolutely. Just going back into Tyre's point here, BRGs and ERGs that talk in business case, ROI, business impact, talking in the language of budget holders and decision makers. It's their love language. You need to just see it like that. It's what will switch them on, right? Networks also offer alternative opportunities for building skills, cross-fertilization of skills and ideas that are topical or cross-cutting. Absolutely love that. And this case study, Kelton, is like the gift that just keeps giving. So thank you so much, honestly, to you and the team. Time recording recognition, and I guess recognition of the time that's put into this also matters to measure the combined effort and impact that achieves the BRG or ERG results. In fact, let's just let's just digress slightly to address this piece, because for a lot of people, obviously, when they're doing network activity, it's on the side of their desk. So it's on the side of their day job. But one of the things, obviously, that came out of your presentation was that because the business case was approved, people were then given time as part of their day job to work on the sponsorship in these events, right?
Yeah, it is. And I think that's the big difference between ERG and BRG sometimes, in the fact in making sure that time management is there as well. We're fortunate to be able to, and because the business values are there, we're fortunate enough to have senior people to be able to build that within our working time. I'm not saying that we don't work out of our working time, because sometimes it can be quite heavy. Edinburgh Pride, wasn't a social event for us. We were working from 8 o'clock in the morning right through till Sunday. So, but what an amazing opportunity that was. But recognition, like Teo just said, recognition as well. We always make sure that, we're getting pictures, feeding back on our Slack channels to the wider company, and even presenting back in our quarterly meetings in the Pride channel and the Pride meetings of what we've achieved and how we've achieved it. So it's really building that recognition as well. So it's a really important thing on that recognition side.
Yeah, absolutely. Perfect. Right, we're going to be the final thing, actually, before we wrap up, just on the skills mix, before we get onto the one piece of advice, etc., that you would give. Just on the skills mix, this is the one thing that I was talking with Michelle about. What's also interesting, and it links to engaging, it links to so many things, but in particular engaging with, if you have, for example, non-desk-based colleagues, but also being very attuned to things like the business case. And it was when I spoke to Michelle, she was talking about her operational background as well as being project manager. And I know just before we started, because I was delving into your profile, how much do you think that helps when you have like co-chairs that have maybe like worked in different parts of the business, or they've worked on the front line themselves, or do you know what I mean? There's something about, if you've worked in different areas, if you've seen the business from different angles, do you think that helps when you're pulling together the business case and you have that rich sort of mixture?
Oh yeah, definitely. The skill set is so important on that as well, because of the experience. When you look at Edinburgh Pride or Manchester Pride, you're thinking operational, and because you've had that experience behind you, it does help. But Cheryl, every day is a learning day. So basically, if you've got other things that come up within other sectors that we want to, push forward, then we could all learn from each other to be able to pull that through. But answer to your question, it is very important sometimes, depending on what events you're going through or what relationships you're building, to have that skill set to be able to understand what their concept is, to be able to buy into it.
It's the one, the one sort of takeaway that I gave to this group of network leads yesterday, who do have this challenge of connecting with retail, manufacturing, distribution colleagues, none of whom sit at a desk with a laptop. And actually some of the learnings kind of came out from the group themselves, which they always do. It's having people in your committee or the co-chairs that actually somehow bridge the gap, so they do bring that understanding, because then they will basically bring that lens to your planning, etc.
Definitely. I think it's about education as well. We do quite a lot of education within our BRG. I was going to say ERG then, BRG. In educating, non-community members and community members. So, and it's inviting all. It's not just for the LGBTQ, community. It's for all to be able to join and and push forward. So it's really important for me that we educate. You've done a lot of events working with charities to educate people as well on next steps. So it's been we trying to evolve every day and try and get new ideas. So it's good.
Incredible.
It's great.
Incredible. So we're gonna wrap things up with our last question, which is always like, what is the one thing that ERG and or BRG leaders can do to turn maybe a single win into a business case, or to just be more business focused? within the
that's a good
network?
question. Yeah, that's a good question. I'd probably say just building that relationship and understanding what the concept is, and being creative, a lot of passion. You know, like you said, the skill sets are really important, and it is on our side. You've got to have every different little skill set to be able to make it happen. You know, like Michelle, the planning, Karan, the glamour. Need a bit of glamour in there.
Yeah, the
Bit
glam
of glamour
squad.
in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But really, building that relationship and what's in it, like Teo's just said about the people that you want to engage with and attract more people in. But that building, I'd say probably building them relationships to the wider team.
100%, 100%. And it's interesting, the relationship thing, because it reminds me, you know, because of when I think about Indeed Flex and the place that it sits in, you know, the conversation with you and your focus on relationships has really reminded me of a business whose board I used to sit on. So yeah, if people want to trawl through my LinkedIn, they can see. But I used to sit on the board of a recruiters, and actually their founders, all they used to talk about was relationships. They're like, it's all about relationships, and you'd be amazed what can be built off the back of that. So that's a really good tip. And that's it. We're almost out of time, and I know that, you know, people are. I know that in some businesses it's what they call summer Friday. So maybe you've only got like a half day that you're working for Fridays. That's you. You know, I'm slightly envious. But yeah, thank you so much, Kelton, honestly, for sharing. If people want to know more about Indeed Flex and more about the Pride BRG, etc., where would you point them? Where can they go?
Yeah, just reach out to me on LinkedIn, and we can discuss. You know, come and meet for a coffee if you're in Manchester. I'm always looking for building more relationships, you know, and how we can help people move forward on that. So, but it's been amazing, our journey, and thank you so much for inviting us to present at the ERG Summit as well.
Oh, honestly, like it was my pleasure. Like, really pleased to share it with so many lessons to take from it. Honestly, it's almost like the perfect case study. Thank you, everybody that's joined the conversation. Honestly, especially if you've been here with us since the start. If you've joined us on LinkedIn, if you've joined us on YouTube, thank you so much for joining us live. And if you're watching on the replay, thank you for taking 49 minutes out of your day to sit here with me and Kelton, kind of having a bit of a chin wag. All right, that's it. Everybody, have a good Friday. Thank you again, Kelton.
Thank you very much, everyone. Enjoy the day. See you later.